Good afternoon and welcome back. This is U.S. Home Talk. Hit the mute button there. We are live every Wednesday at noon and on demand at ushometalk.com or wherever you guys find your podcasts. We are your host, Marcus Walgrave with the South Dakota Home Team, powered by Hague Realtors, and Jason Walgrave with Walgrave Real Estate Group at RE/MAX Advantage Plus. We'll be taking all of your questions during the show today. Anything and everything real estate. Our call-in number is 612-234-7585. Or you can leave us a message in the comments section on Facebook. We are live there. I'm excited to have a great show here this afternoon. How are we doing, guys?
Doing fantastic. Happy
We are
Thanksgiving.
yes, it's going to be a great Thursday. A little bit chilly, but hey, we'll take a day off.
Yes.
It was going to be coming around sooner or later, the chilly air. So I think we got a little taste of it last night. I think the real stuff is going to come in tonight, but I guess it is almost the end of November. So
We'll take every nice day we can have at this point in time. It's a joy to be inspecting when it's 40 degrees, 50 degrees in November. That's nice.
Oh yeah, for sure.
we're in the month of November. We're going to have a great show today. We are going to be talking about property inspections, and joining us is Brian Shabino of National Property Inspections. Brian, you guys are the franchisee owners of the Sioux Empire area, and then you get expanded to the tri-state as well. So I'm excited about today's show. Property inspections have always been an interesting topic here in the last 2-3 years. We kind of talked about this, Jason, as realtors. We've been seeing this more and more where because of the reduction of multiple offers and bidding war concepts kind of going on, the buyer is having a little bit more leverage in terms of what they put together in an offer. But something that we talked about, Brian, you and I, and my team members that hire for your guys' services and recommend our clients for your services. And that was even in these past years, when buyers kind of felt the need of saying, hey, we're kind of concerned about this bidding war that is brewing here with this property. And we need to try to get creative with our best offer possible. And some of them were not adding that in terms of the offer, but our team was still telling our clients when we were representing buyers, like, hey, don't forget, it's still a great opportunity to reach out to a company like National Property Inspections after you purchase the home and close on it and get you guys out there. Because again, I remind everybody, the clients that I work for, I'm not going to get in the attic for you and I'm not going to go on top of the roof for you either. I don't know those things. But we got to lean on the professionals like Brian.
Well, and in the past 2 years, basically, we have really been pushing after purchase inspections. What we always say is, for $400, you can really get a peace of mind. And isn't that worth it? Mm-hmm. I mean, you can make your offer, and we understand, inspectors understand the market. We know that in order for your offer to be accepted, you've had to take away your inspection, maybe increase the offer price. But we also know the value in our home inspection. So we have really been pushing and marketing after purchase inspections. You still want to know what's going on. Whether you can do anything about it with price, maybe not, but you can go ahead and put together a maintenance plan or a plan of action to take care of your house. Maybe in the next year you need to do X. Maybe 5 years you should look at replacing a furnace. But without us coming in, you may never know any of those items.
Yeah, Brian, I think that's fantastic. I think that, if you're going to spend, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 or more on a home, I want to know everything about it. And not necessarily for negotiating the price or terms, but I want to know everything about the house. If it's not brand new, there's likely a list of probably small items that need to be addressed. But if you take care of those folks now, if you're on top of the maintenance, if you create that maintenance plan, like Brian had mentioned, you can prevent yourself from big dollar repairs later, or issues that come up with, whether it's the roof or or foundation, or even just grading issues to prevent water intrusion into the basement. 400 bucks is not a lot of money to spend to get that list of everything that you need to address with the house. And look, it's a big investment. Get the information and then you can take care of it. Brian, we did have a text message come in through our text line. Brian, do you always recommend a radon test, or do you see this as optional?
Now, since this is nationwide, I'm going to go to the EPA.gov/radon. You can look and actually see where the radon zones are in the U.S. Now, in our area, southeastern South Dakota, we do recommend it because our radon levels are high. Minnesota, radon levels are high. So we do recommend it. As I tell all my clients, we're here to do whatever you want, but I'm not going to charge you extra money if you don't want to pay for it. But at least, again, peace of mind. I just can't I can't reinforce $100 for a radon test, $125. Peace of mind knowing that the radon levels are low. Yeah. People don't fully understand that radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in the United States. So it definitely is worth it to get it tested.
Jeez, I didn't realize that. That's a big stat.
That is a huge stat. And again, you can go online and look up all that information. But we do encourage it. Now, there's different types of builds out there. There's also slab-on grades. And a lot of people don't believe you need a radon test on a slab-on grade. However, we've been doing more of those and actually finding that the radon levels have been high on just a slab-on grade. And there are ways to mitigate that as well. So in almost every situation, we do recommend it.
Awesome. Great question, Andy. Thanks for sending that in.
Yeah, great question. Thank you for that. Anybody else have any other questions? Our call-in number, you can text it as well, 612-234-7585. You can also leave us a message in the comment section on Facebook as well. Today, we're talking about property inspections. Joining us, Brian Shabino of National Property Inspections. Brian, we kind of talk about how the market is changed a little bit. I mean, I'm definitely seeing it here in the Sioux Empire, representing our clients that our team does, the South Dakota home team. And we're able to get this property inspection contingency added to purchase contracts when we submit offers, especially in situations where there just simply aren't any competition. It's not a bidding war. We may be the only one who would submit an offer at that time, and getting that stuff negotiated throughout the process. So that's a great peace of mind. And I think property inspections, maybe it's just me being a realtor but I feel like anytime anybody talks about it, it has a lot of emphasis in terms of like a transactional event, and buyer focused. But with this idea that this narrative that the interest rates may be coming down in 2024, Jason, we've been talking about this for all of 23. Like, hey, if the rates do come down, which now that it's looking more likely than ever that we will be going into a recession in 2024, if in the event that does happen, mortgage rates are going to likely come down in that event. And if that happens, the buyer's gonna be like, oh my gosh, we have to get into a house to capture this lower rate, and this bidding war is an aggressive market is very likely for spring of 2024. So it's something where if you want to buy and you want to have these type of contingencies being part of a contract throughout the process, this is a great time to get out there, start house hunting, and have a little bit more leverage in terms of how you submit offers.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Marcus. Something else to consider is if you're a seller, right? If you're a seller, many of our sellers in the last couple of years have decided to do the home inspection before we go live on the market, and they'll do one of two things. They'll have the inspection. They'll get the list of items that need to be addressed, and they'll go through and they'll make all those repairs and address everything that's in there. And then they'll have a follow-up inspection because all of those things have been taken care of. And then we'll include those inspections on the MLS and a part of our marketing. And so, for a buyer out there, if the inspection's already done on the house, it certainly gives you a little bit additional comfort. You can certainly, have your own inspections as a buyer, but some of our sellers are taking that extra step to streamline the process a little more. Even if we think we're going to be in multiple offers, it sometimes makes sense to do, because then you just give buyers the confidence to not only make a good offer, an offer not contingent on inspection, because you already have provided the inspection. I think that it can be a great way to help out the sellers and the buyers in those cases. So, inspections, look, if you can do them and it is anywhere in the cards when you're buying a house, we always recommend that you do the inspection. If we're in multiple offer situations, like we have been many, many times over the last couple of years, our clients will ask, well, Jason, do you recommend having an inspection? My answer is always, yes, I do. But then I follow that up. If we are in multiple offers, what does it mean if we include the inspection contingency in the offer? So overall, $400 and you add on the radon for another 125. It's a wonderful, very affordable peace of mind that I think you need when you're buying a house.
And we're doing a pre-listing inspection on Friday morning, and the client contacted me themselves and said, hey, we want to do this. And then their next question was, what do we do with this information? And which is a question that we get from realtors and clients all the time. And what we see most often is, basically we're coming up with a list, kind of a honey-do list for people to do to their house before you put it on the market. And they often ask, will you come back and update the inspection report? And here at National Property Inspections, we do that. Now, we also tell them, hey, save your receipt. We have a nice report that can be printed out, or it can be a virtual one. It comes in a PDF format. Save your receipt, attach it to that report. So that way, when you have an open house, you have verification that work has been completed and by a professional. That goes a long ways in the confidence level of that buyer, then knowing that, oh my gosh, they took care of that. We can put our offer in, move in, and not even worry about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great point, Brian. I think that, that can instill additional confidence for the buyer. We've got the initial inspection report. We did all of these things. Here's the receipt of those items being finished, and here's the final or the secondary inspection report. For our sellers, we recommend disclose. If you're asking whether or not you should disclose it, the answer is probably yes, you should. And so I would rather have you over disclose than under disclose. And my experience with buyers is they want to just know what's happened with the property. Did you have water in the basement? Great, disclose it. What did you do to remedy it? What did you do to make sure that it doesn't happen again? Those are the things that the buyers want to know. And so, that along with pre-list inspections, I think it's a great combination to really give buyers confidence in making good offers.
We kind of look at the property inspection. I mean, obviously, when the market tolerates, very important for buyers. If you feel like it doesn't tolerate it at the time, again, can't emphasize enough that you can still do this post-closing, post-purchase to get that inspection done. Sellers, that pre-listing inspection, it's a great marketing piece, and the big benefit there. I know there's always the question like, Jason, I'm sure you hear this as well. You mention it to a seller, and the seller says, "Doesn't the buyer pay for that?" It's like, well, yeah, yes, a buyer will likely pay for their property inspection if they want it. But again, it's that hey, we can maybe request a list price that is very competitive, that's going to make a lot of buyers excited and bring more people to the table, hopefully from that. So there is that idea of investing a little bit in a pre-listing inspection to then ultimately get more top dollar at the end of the day. Owners, this is something to where if you're not looking to buy, if you're not looking to sell, a property inspection is really good for you as well. We joke about all the time. The day is on the ladder and getting on the roof. I mean, they're far and gone for us. They're not coming back. I'm not getting on the roof. If I want to have anything, if I wanted my house to be inspected, it's not going to be done by myself. I have no intentions of selling the house that myself and my family own. But what a great opportunity just to reach out to them and say, hey, I'm a homeowner, Brian, and I'd like you to come over and give us a check. We're in the middle end of November. We're still going to get a couple nice weeks. A couple nice weather days here in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. We usually always do, right? And so that can be one of those great opportunities to get your house inspected. Maybe there are some exterior things that you want to give some attention to before winter comes rolling around.
And what we see with that is the more experienced people, the more senior a person is, the more they're more willing to have us come out and take a look at their house. Now, what I've been finding, which is kind of shocking, but we're also finding that more in the 20-somethings. And the reason is they don't have the confidence or the knowledge to know what they're looking at. So it seems like they're more willing to go ahead and pay that $400 or whatever your price is out there in the market, because they want to know, and they want to know how to fix it or who to have fix it. Because again, a lot of the younger people are not quite as experienced when it comes to home maintenance and self repairs. So they're actually calling us up. That business for the 30 and under, it keeps increasing every year.
Mm-hmm. Well, Brian, I can tell you that I am no longer young or maintenance skilled, so I'll have somebody come and fix it for me.
Well, even if you did want to get up there, I mean, to buy an extension ladder, to get up on your roof, I mean that's a chunk of change right there in itself. So then it's like, okay, well, now that I have to go spend a couple $100s to get an extension ladder, I don't know what I'm looking for once I get on top of the roof. So it's like, well, I might as well just invest that, in a property inspection by a company like MPI and have them come out there and provide the extra resources that you guys do, that you give your consumers, that maintenance, digital maintenance checklist. You guys got a nice dashboard that consumers get access to from the NPI website. Jason, you mentioned earlier in the show, and you'll have to give me your thoughts on this, but Brian, I know, again, between just me personally, I'll just speak, on a personal level, the last couple houses that I've purchased have been new construction. Our market, it's very common for our builders to say, hey, not required. This is not a requirement. It's just something that our market, our builders offer. They say, hey, in that first year, we will come back and we will touch up whatever we missed, fix the little things, maybe some windows or drawers, cabinets aren't closing properly, whatever the case might be. We'll come back on that first year, give us that first dozen plus at the 6-month mark. Send us an email. We'll send out a handyman. He'll go take care of all that stuff and then give us another one, right before that 12-month mark. And we'll send another guy back out there to touch those things up. And personally, I mean, I looked at it as like, okay, well, when I get to my 1-year builder's warranty that our builders offer down here in the Sioux Empire, I just went ahead and reached out to Brian and say, hey, Brian, go ahead and do an exterior inspection for me, please, and give me the report. And as always, I mean, it doesn't really matter the level, the quality of the builder. I mean, homes are still built by people, and people might accidentally forget to seal a couple nail holes, not nail holes, but nail heads on the shingles. It's like, well, man, if you could catch those 4 or 5 nails that got missed right out of the gates with your brand new construction home, you're definitely improving your chances of not getting things like water penetration, at the 10-year mark.
So I'll talk about two top topics here, and the first one is new purchase inspections, and then I'll hop back to the 1 year warranty inspection. We always believe that you should have a brand new home inspected. Yes, we have great builders here in the Sioux Empire, and I'm sure everybody does. But we have so many instances. This year alone, we've gotten into 2 houses. I don't know how it happens. There was no insulation in the ceilings. Twice that has happened. Now, I called the real estate agent that was selling that house. I said, "Hey, I'm just calling. Do you guys realize that the insulation isn't in yet?" And now I don't want to get anybody in trouble. The final inspection stickers were posted that there was an R49 level in that attic.
Whoa.
Wow.
Okay. There wasn't. Now, I will tell you that in both situations, by the time I got done with that inspection, I had insulation companies there putting in the insulation.
Yeah, they were coming.
So now, if you waited until your 1 year warranty had came up, you'd be going through 11, 12 months, losing all that energy, all that money, seriously, right up the roof.
Yeah.
The other things that we find, again, it's happened too many times, when you get your plumbing vent stacks up on the roof, roofers, shinglers, they'll put a cap on it because they don't want things dropping in there. Well, we have came across that many times they forget to remove the cap. Little, but at least you know about it. We've also came across where the plumbing vent stack was coming out of the roof here, and lo and behold, the hole was over here. So right now that we had a hole coming down into that attic. Again, we don't know how all this happens. A lot of different subcontractors are in there. They're all busy. But again, that's why we stop in. And also for a brand new home build, we're doing things a little bit differently than an experienced home. We are actually going in and monitoring the paint jobs. So if they have irregular paint coverings, we're notating that because, again, brand new home, it should be painted correctly. Making sure your cupboards and drawers are installed plumb or level. No nicks in the woodwork. And a lot of times it's going to be the level of the house. You can go into a $1 million house and boy, every little trim hole is sealed perfectly. And you can go into a more affordable home and maybe that quality isn't as high, but we will notate that. Those are just little things that we look at on the interior. And then when it goes to that 1 year warranty, boy, that is, Marcus, we are going through a lot of building here in Sioux Falls. We are doing so many more of those. But again, we're going in at that 11th month and we're doing the same thing as a home inspection. Again, we're getting up on that roof, checking to make sure everything is done correctly. Again, we just did a 11-month home inspection on a $1 million home, and we got up on the roof, and you could tell that they had put a pallet of shingles up on the roof, and then they slid that pallet down, or it moved. It just raked all of those shingles.
Probably did it when it was like 110 degrees outside, where any other maybe a 70-degree day they could have got away with it, but on those hot days, those shingles are very soft.
Yeah, and again, it's just, we know that nobody can afford right now $400, but gosh, that's a multi-$1,000 repair that just had to take place. So we think that is a pretty good payoff or return on investment.
Yeah, good catch there, Brian. But I think that's again the value of it, right? I mean, us realtors, I mean, yes, we've been in hundreds and thousands of homes, and we've seen so many different properties, and we can give a ton of insight in terms of our experience of what we're seeing in a house. But you're never going to get me in the attic and I won't be going on roofs, crawling around roofs and things of that nature. So, just that extension of the eyes on a property, but also unbiased. I know, kind of, Brian, I don't know if this is still something that you guys say, but a phrase that I've heard many property inspectors use is that you work for the house. It's unfortunately, you don't really work for the seller. You don't really work for the buyer. You're giving this unbiased report on the structure itself, the property, and that's and how what happens after that is determines on what the seller or buyer or homeowner chooses to do so. But giving that unbiased opinion on a property, it can be very valuable.
Yeah, that is a comment that we get on a routine basis. Oh, you're working for the seller. Oh, you're working for the buyer. Yes, they are paying for it. However, because that question comes up so much, I had to come up with a pat answer. And that pat answer was, I love houses. I am here to work for that house. I want to make sure that house gets taken care of. That's been kind of my pat answer after that.
Yeah, I like it.
A lot of this is residential talk, but by no means does a property inspection end there. There's so many commercial properties that investors are looking to get their hands on. In a company like National Property Inspections, you guys do more than that. I think I saw a post earlier this week. You guys were inspecting a church. And I know you've inspected restaurants for clients of mine and offices as well. So it's not just residential where individuals are inquiring about a property inspection.
That is correct. We do all types of commercial. As a matter of fact, we were just in Mankato, Minnesota, doing a 13-unit, 192 unit apartment complex. Now I had to get a National Property Inspections inspector from St. Cloud involved with that to help, because there's just two of us down here in Sioux Falls. And we were there for 3 days. I had him come down and help for a day. That's a lot of roofs you got to get on. That's a lot. And we went into every unit, 192 units. That's 192 plus bathrooms, 192 kitchens. So we do every type of inspection that you can imagine around Sioux Falls, multiple office buildings. I work with quite a few of the local commercial real estate companies too. And so we have just recently put together, working with them, triple net lease inspections. So we put these together for both the leasee and the leaser, because when your lease is up, again, you want an unbiased opinion of what, if you're renting, what you may have to do to bring that commercial property back up to standards. You want somebody telling you that that's not the owner, because of course they're going to want everything paid for. And on the flip side, we'll do it for the property owner, so they know, oh my gosh, they really didn't take care of any of the HVAC equipment. How come all the carpet is just torn up? It shouldn't be like that. And so we can go in, so that way it gives an unbiased opinion of what is going on. So that way now the leaser and the leasee can figure out how to work out that triple net lease. So that's something I just gave my first presentation to NAI here a couple of weeks ago, and they loved it. So.
Awesome. Nice work.
The process is a little different. I mean, residential, obviously, when you do start getting into some bigger homes, but I mean, maybe a new tradition with, or a new trend, I should say, with new construction is, I mean, even with the higher end homes, I mean, they're kind of staying away from those very large 10,000 square foot plus style homes. I mean, yes, those are still getting built. Don't get me wrong, but when you are in that million range, plus minus. People are not seeing the value in terms of having a lot of square feet, but they want maybe more amenities into it. And so, in terms of like pricing, it's a little bit easier to give that. But if you are inquiring about a commercial inspection, a property like MPI, they provide you, since, like, for example, the 192 unit one, it's like, well, you can be pretty certain that a residential home is going to fall somewhere in that $400 to $600, range, something like that. But you can't take that. There's a wide range of type of structures when you're talking commercial.
Yeah, and so I just wrote up one this morning. What we do is we create a commercial property inspection proposal. And that proposal is, of course, going to cover the price, but it's going to cover what we're going to look at. And we can create that to the specifications of the buyer. So when we do multi-unit apartments or triplexes, fourplexes, 192 units, some buyers will want all the units inspected. Some will want every third one. Oh, just give me one per floor so we can have an idea of what is going on. So we can create that proposal based off of what you want. And then we also need to know, again, in some investment properties or multi-unit properties, you may have a furnace and an air conditioner for each unit. Well, let me tell you, that takes a long time to go and take a look at those. Or you may have a centralized boiler for all the heat for all the units, and window air conditioners, which we're not going to test all the window air conditioners, but we will test your central AC units. So that's why we always have to know what it is we're looking at. We don't want to, and it has happened too many times. We get there and it's like, ooh, I underbid that, so that does happen on occasion.
Yeah, sometimes it happens. If you guys want to get some more information from National Property Inspection, you can find them online at npiweb.com. If you're in the Sioux Empire area, it's just Sioux Empire as well. You can just Google it. It kind of makes it easier too. We're talking about some property inspections. A lot of this is we're referencing maybe the full inspection, but there's a lot of companies out there like NPI that in a sense kind of offer an a la carte concept where it's like, hey, a storm just came through. Maybe your roofer that you typically work with, they're just slammed. They're slammed with the spring parade, spring real estate market, and they say, "Hey, we can get out there, but we probably won't be able to see if you got any of that hail damage for 2, 3, 4 months." That's something where if you have something specific, you can reach out to a company like MPI and say, "Hey, can you guys just inspect my roof for me?" or something like that, and you guys can offer that as well.
Yes, and it's a great idea. We've touched on this a couple of times, unbiased. So we've had many hailstorms here in the last couple of years. It's a great idea to call us to do your roof inspection. Okay, it's $100, but again, everybody's in business to make money. But if you're getting a roofer up there, and a lot of times when we have a hailstorm come through, there may be companies that also come through following that hailstorm. Well, they're there for a purpose and they want to work and they want to make sure they're replacing shingles. I've had several instances where people have called me, "Hey, we just want to know, do we need this?" And I'll get up there. No, you don't. And I've had people, everybody in the neighborhood is getting it done. See all the company names. I'm like, yeah, it's the same company. It's doing them all. And well, we want to know. I've actually taken a video camera, put it 6 inches above the shingles and walked the whole thing so they could see there's no hail damage. You don't need to pay for it. And on the flip side, I've had insurance companies say, "Nah, there's no hail damage." And I go up there and I look and go, "Oh yeah, I can circle them and measure it out. And you have so many hits per, 10 squares. And yeah, you do need somebody to come and take a look." So again, I'm unbiased. I don't care if you're getting a new roof or not. I just want you to know what's going on so you can make the right decision. Not the roofer, not the insurance company, not me. I want you to make the decision. I just want to give you all the information you need to make the correct decision.
When you kind of look at again, I mean the topic of the home. I mean, a lot of them are going to be the most valuable asset that we have and we own. So to take care of that is very important. And now that we're in the month of November, there's still time. There's still time to get out there and to get a company like MPI out there to check out your house. I know Jason works with exceptional inspectors up there in the Twin Cities area. Jason, one thing I think I thought was a really interesting relationship that you kind of built up there with your inspectors is that same day as an offer gets inspected or an offer gets accepted, to have the inspection done within the next 24 hours. I mean that's can be super valuable when things are really moving fast. So you got a company like like Mike Overson's mortgage company that can. I just saw him post the other day that from start to finish they were able to process a loan in 10 days. So when you got things moving really fast, having access to quick inspections can be very key.
Absolutely.
And I try to work with all our realtors. I don't know if I can do next day turnaround. when
the bar has been set, Brian. The bar has been set.
And there's just two of us right now. So in this last summer, I mean, we're doing anywhere between 4, 5, and 6 inspections a day. And sometimes we were booked 2 weeks out. And the amount of inspections that I had to turn down just killed me, because every time I have to turn one down, it's like, I'm helping my competitor and I'm losing money. But we just couldn't get to them all. But hey, that's all right. We can do what we can do.
Whether you guys want to
get, that's great.
Yes, right. That is great. I'm a little envious of it. Definitely good something to offer your clients that hey, if you need, you're only here for the weekend and maybe it's extended weekend and you want to have things done before you fly out, you're visiting from out of state. I mean, that can be definitely key and very helpful for our clients and consumers out there. Guys, if you guys are interested about property inspections, you guys can always find some great information on National Property Inspections, their website. Whether you want to get the structure inspected, maybe something specifically like roofing or radon, mold, things of that nature. There's a lot of options in terms of having inspections done. Brian, thanks a lot for joining us here today. It's great to have you on.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys have had me on here. That is great. And I just want to give a shout out to National Property Inspections as a franchise. Since you are nationwide, there are National Property Inspections franchisees nationwide. And what is so special about our franchisor, thanks, Mike. We just see that little note come in from Mike Austin, one of our leading radon mitigation installation guys here in Sioux Falls. But National Property Inspectors, we've got hundreds of franchisee locations throughout the United States. What is so nice about this is we have such a good working relationship. If I have a question about something, I can make a phone call to 300 inspectors and go, hey, help me out with this. That is so valuable. At our franchise office, which is just located in Omaha, we can call down there, take a picture with our phone. Hey, what is this? So we have so much more support that is not just us, because, hey, we have seen a lot, but when you can put together hundreds and hundreds of inspectors, somebody has seen something, and to be able to write it up is just fantastic. So National Property Inspections all throughout the United States and Canada. It's global property inspections up in Canada, but we're here to help. Everybody is fantastic. So I just thought I'd give a little plug for us as a whole.
Awesome.
As our show comes to an end today, we want to thank you all for taking your time to tune in live and for support of our show, US Home Talk. As always, you guys can find today's show and all of our past shows on our website, ushometalk.com, or wherever you guys find your podcasts. This is Marcus Walgrave, Jason Walgrave. We hope you have a blessed week.